I think I always made the comment that once a miller, always a miller.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! Good heavens, he's done it again! Another promotion for the big man.
I've got 12 bottles of champagne in my office and we're going to drink them all night.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Thank you all for being with us. We're going to have a lovely Sunday evening talking about football. We're going to look back at a Saturday afternoon where Richard Wood got a really, really nice send-off. Well, send-off is maybe not the wrong word. It's maybe the wrong word, but we'll talk about that. We'll also finish off our pre-season predictions. We have me, Tom, Ben, and Kev, who are going to give theirs today. Kev can't be with us tonight. He's probably having a rest after sorting out the Woody testimonial, to be honest with you. But he sent us in anyway. He still put the effort in. Send us a video. So we're going to play the video for Kevin a bit to give us his predictions. And yeah, that's where we are. That's what we'll be doing. Mick, how are we? Back in lovely Rotherham. How are we?
Back in God's country, mate. Yeah, I'm all right, mate. All right. Thank you very much. You?
Yeah, very, very good. Thank you. Tom's back. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm good. High spirits.
Good to hear. And Ben is back. How is Benjamin? It's been a few weeks. How are you doing?
I'm good, yeah, you?
Yeah.
No one else asked you how you were doing, you know what I mean? I did.
Yeah, you're making us all look bad here, Ben.
I mean, to be fair, he's making himself look bad because he's clearly not listening because I asked if Matt were all right. So he's obviously not listening.
Yeah. They responded with the same level of enthusiasm that I gave them, though, Ben. You were just classic monotone Ben going through. There we are. So close with Martin Holland's with us, the Millers 66, as his YouTube users. Good everybody, and all the power cut he has been watching on his phone. Fair enough. Chris Page and Steve Grun is with us, as is Noel Jordan, Stephen Gontley, Tom K. Paula Rhodes is with us this evening, all just recovering from seeing shirtless Hugh Jackman in the Deadpool Wolverine film.
Yeah,
I see a little bit of a theme running here with Paula.
Maybe.
I'm not sure what it is, but there's definitely a theme.
I went to see Deadpool Wolverine on Friday, and if you love that kind of film, go and watch it. It's one of the best superhero films I've ever seen. So good. Highly recommended. Mick will hate it, but let's move on from that. Let's
call him Mick will hate it.
He don't like blood and guts, and he don't like superheroes. So it's tick.
No, fair.
No, street. But let's start with a good afternoon. I want to say off the pitch, Tom, and that sounds like it was awful, but off the pitch, Richard Wood got a nice send-off. There were good bits done, and honestly, that's all I can take from it.
I think saying off the pitch is probably the default because on the pitch it wasn't good, was it? It was not an interesting game. It wasn't a game played with any real intensity, or as football games go, it wasn't a spectacle. So yeah, to say that it was good off the pitch is probably downplaying it. In all honesty, it was a good day. Good day.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those things, Mick, that's frustrating. I know you didn't watch the game, but they played the game behind closed doors on Friday and played basically all the good players on the Friday of the game that nobody could watch. And on the game that everybody could watch, you had a few. You got Clark Harris and Cam Humphreys and Liam Kelly. And that was it, really. A bit frustrating from a fan's point of view, but I suppose it doesn't matter, does it? Because it's all about the minutes under the belt kind of thing. There's no point getting frustrated about it, maybe.
Well, also that it's not about Rotherham United or Doncaster Rovers yesterday, was it? No. It's about Richard Wood, and that's all it was about. It was never going to. The game as a spectacle was never going to be a spectacle, was it?
Yeah.
It just wasn't. And if we've had this behind closed doors friendly against the Pigs on whenever it was, again, he's not going to want to be playing players 2 days on the trot, whether it's competitive or otherwise. So, yeah, as a game, it was ever going to be anything. You know, testimonial games are usually a bit of a laugh. You know, the odd stupid penalty awarded and, you know, referee sent off or whatever. You know, a bit of something for comedic value. But yeah, I'd take less from that than any of the other friendlies, and that's saying something really.
True. Sheffield Wednesday also had a testimonial game for Lynn Palmer on Saturday. From my understanding, they played a lot of their strong players in the Palmer testimonial game. So the strong Rotherham team kind of played the weak Sheffield Wednesday team. We don't know that for certain, but that's my reading of the two lineups that have come from it. Then, again, anything you're going to take from it, even if we were strongest 11, strongest 18, whatever it would you have taken anything against Donny anyway?
Not really. A testimonial is not really I mean, it's kind of like Mick said, it's just for Woody. It's for him to get a good reception and have a kick about. It's not really you know what I mean? It's not really a game per se. I think the one on Friday. Who did we play before?
Wednesday on Friday.
Wednesday, yeah. I think the one against Wednesdays was the more important one for the team. But like I said, there's not a lot of players playing in the Donny one. I don't think it's about that. Like, you know, giving the fans or whatever. I don't think it's about that pre-season. I think it's about getting your team ready, and especially against Wednesday, who are unfortunately in a higher division, probably a better team. So it's about getting your team right against a better team, which is what pre-season's about. So I think the testimonial was always going to be just a bit of a kick about.
Yeah, I think you're right. Was funny to see Richard Wood commit what would have been a red card offence within the first 10 minutes. By clearing out Clark Harris with a clean thrown goal. You know, he's still not lost it, as Woody. I can tell you that he's not lost it. And then he got brought off at half time. Just after half time, he only played 46 minutes. Woody. But yeah, Tom, is there any performances? I thought for the first 10 minutes, I thought when we came out, I thought there is something there. There were a bit of intensity for 10 minutes, and then it just literally disappeared after literally 10 minutes.
Honestly, performance-wise, I think there was, from what I can remember, about 3 standout players that I thought were very good. Jamie McCart was excellent, considering everything that's gone on with him and probably fitness-related stuff and not really being in the team picture and obviously not fully fit. I thought he was excellent. I thought he looked better than Humphreys, although, you know, Humphreys is probably playing at 50%. And I think he has something to show for himself, did McCart. I thought he was really, really good. Good on the ball, good in the air, defended really well, should have gotten himself a goal. He was excellent. Liam Kelly oozed class. And I thought, well, yeah, 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 is he's going to be a right player, isn't he? So those are the sort of 3 I'd pick out. Safe to say that I thought Ben Hatton was really good. And the first time I watched Jack Holmes, and I'll be honest, I was a bit, I thought everyone was overhyping him a little bit. You know, it seemed like, you know, he's a good player. Obviously, he's quick, dynamic. And if he was all this, then why isn't an EFL club picked him up before? So I was a bit apprehensive. Having seen him, I can see what the hype is. He's really good. And obviously, there's rough edges and all this, that, and the other. But close control wise, he was excellent. Good turn of pace. Looked comfortable, which is, you know, something to say for someone who's not really played in the EFL. I think I don't think he'll be a starter, but I think with a bit of proper training, proper match situation where he's playing against better players, he will be a player. But let's not overhype him too much. If he comes on and plays a bit crap, you know, let's not kick him out of the park just yet. We need to really back him for these 2 years. And if nothing, yeah, I know. At least, you know, we'll see, won't we?
I thought he did well yesterday. I only come for 20 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it were. But I thought it did look really bright. It looked confident. It looked calm.
I think the shot at the end summed him up. He took the ball on the edge of the box, players around him, tried to bend a really nice effort into the corner and wasn't that far off. And I think if that would have gone in, you know, a lot of people would be talking about him as being a serious starter.
It's probably a good thing he didn't go in.
Yeah, absolutely. You know.
Yeah. Do we know? Paul was asked who the goalkeeper was. No, there was no name linked or anything else like that. He played 10 minutes. He was very keen to get involved. It's fair, but it's harsh to play a trialist goalkeeper for 10 minutes. What's he meant to do, kind of thing? If he wouldn't have tried to do something, he wouldn't have been involved.
Yeah.
it's a bit,
10 minutes.
Anyway,
Yeah,
it would, literally about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, no, it was and credit to him, he came out and swept out really well, dribbled out, he caught a couple balls in the air, but he had no saves to make in 10 minutes. What he did do, he did well, and off the basis of those 10 minutes, Evans should have seen all that he wanted to see and therefore sign him. So it's a bit of an odd decision, but who knows?
It is what it is.
You would think if that's the case, if he's only played 10 minutes in a friendly has less meaning than an actual friendly, then it's either a done deal and he's going to be signing him, or he's had no intention whatsoever of signing him. I mean, that just seems utterly pointless to me. Why would you do that? Don't make any sense.
A few people in the comments saying it could be Jordan and Missa from Sheffield United, but there's Scott Kent saying not him according to Paul Davis. Wasted me a Google. So we don't know. we do need a third choice keeper. You'd expect a third choice keeper to come in anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's talk about the contract situation before we come into predictions. Harry's saying with the Hackstolly situation, I think there's a certain deadline. The contract extensions before they are sold. Yeah, this comes from the Paul Davis article today. There's kind of movement where there are contract conversations ongoing, but Steve Evans kind of said that if they're not going to sign, then we're going to have to catch it. He didn't say that word for word. That was the gist of what he was saying. That is exactly what we want to hear. We all want Hacks and Ollie to be here for 2 or 3 more years, whatever it might be. They're really good players, but if they're not going to sign, they need to be sold probably before the end of this window to get the value. Yeah,
that's disappointing. That's really disappointing. I've not read the article, but I haven't had time. I've not seen that today. That is disappointing. If we're not offering them what they are worth, then they're going to move on. Then, they've got better offers. Who knows? But I'd be very, very disappointed, particularly with Hacks. But you should, again, both of them. Maybe Ollie not so much, but Odoffin for me should be playing Championship football, even if it's lower end Championship. I'm disappointed in that. I would be very, very disappointed to see him go. But they are part of the old guard, aren't they? And Evans will not be particularly keen on keeping the old guard, given the way that they performed as a whole last season. So let's see what happens. See whether we can get some money for him. It's very disappointing to see the back of both of them, but particularly.
Yeah, but look, Ben, there's no guarantees that either way. This stage, the conversations are ongoing. Neil Bolton's saying that it's Rathbun not signing because Evans knows saying he needs 2 players. I think if Ollie seems more dispensable than Hacks, and that's really harsh. I love Ollie. I think he's a great player. He's exactly what I like in a Rotherham player, but Hacks is better for me, I think, if I had to choose one.
Yeah, I think with guys like Rathbone, I think there's quite a lot of players like that who will run about for 90 minutes and give everything they've got. I'm saying there's loads. I think there's quite a few around, especially in lower league football. I think there's quite a few around who will put in the middle of the park and do a job for you. He's not technically the best, in my opinion. He's that runabout energy kind of midfielder. With Hacks, he can play anywhere, literally anywhere, at a really high level. That is so hard to find at League 1, League 2, Championship level. That is so hard to find. So he is very rare because he can play centre-half, put him right back. Probably do a job at left back. He can do good going forward. He can score goals. He's the all-round package, and it's really hard to find a good player like that at this level. So I think Hacks is obviously more valuable in my opinion. And if he goes, it would be devastating because he's just such a good squad player. But he's not just a good squad player; he's a starter. He can start anywhere, but he can play anywhere, and he's good. Like last year, he's such a good squad player to have. You know what I mean? It'd be disappointing, but it is what it is. It's football and it's business.
Yeah, it is. Where would your money go if you had to bet now, Tom? 31st August comes. Are they both here? Both gone? One here, one gone?
I think Ollie already is gone. I think he got replaced by Sean McWilliams at the start of the window. And I think looking for a 10 is looking for, because he played there, didn't he? He played the friendly there, McWilliams, and
Yeah, he did.
yes,
He did all right for the first 20 minutes or so, McWilliams. I thought he did all right.
He looked a decent player, but he didn't look a 10. He didn't look
No.
like he was able to pick passes and pull defensive apart. But he put himself about like Ollie would. So I think as soon as he came in, I think that was a sign that Ollie can go and probably will go. If he signs a new contract, great. It just means we have an extra high-end League One player in the squad. And if he goes, we have a replacement. But I think looking for that 10 is probably proof that we're not quite, we're expecting him to leave. Which, like Ben said, is fine. You can find players like him anywhere, really. Maybe not of his ability, but, I think Sean McWilliams really fills in that gap pretty well. Box to box, dynamic, strong as well, which Ollie doesn't really give you. Full of energy, full of running. Ollie would obviously be a miss, but in regards to, if he's not going to sign, you're going to want to sell him rather than run your assets down. It's just how we should operate now. So, it'd be sad to see him go, but best for the business, really.
It's football, isn't it? It's football. Also on captains, this is kind of relevant. Clark Harris started as captain again, so I get the feeling that he will be captain. Alex McDonald picked up the armband in the second half when Clark Harris went off, which might mean nothing. Just thought I'd point it out for him that wasn't there at the game. Anything else from general Rotherham we need to cover before we move on to predictions? I think that's it for now.
I'd like to mention to Ben Hatton, thought he was really good.
He looked a proper prospect. Him.
Yeah, and same with Holmes, and it's not good to hype players up before they've done anything because technically he hasn't done anything. He just looks sharp. But yeah, if he can, I don't think he's ready for the starting 11 yet, and I don't think he'll be an impact off the bench. So I hope he goes out on loan to a League Two side, a good League Two side, gets in there, finds some game time, and he'll come back a proper player, or a League One side, depending on how they rate him. I think he's one of the players that probably will do best with a loan, but that's me.
Yeah, I agree. Evan's suggesting that there could be a place in the squad for McCart going forward, although he said that about JJ, and 3 days later he left. So we'll see what happens with that one.
That's him on his way out then.
Evan's saying he wants 2 more, and then we're done. Unless we lose somebody, then obviously we'll be looking to replace a Rathbone or Hacks or whoever may end up leaving. But let's wait and see. If somebody decent becomes available, Steve Evans is not going to turn down a good signing, is he? I don't think. There we are. Let's move forward. Let's do prediction time. Mick is going to take over. Mick, I'm going to send you the categories now because I've realised I haven't sent them yet.
I've got them. Well, you've sent them again, but thank you.
Fine. I am also, before we start, we will do Kev's because Kev sent us a video. Kev's made the effort of sending us a video in. So we're going to watch Kev's 2-minute video. We should also say well done, and I suppose thanks to Kevin, the testimonial committee who helped organise yesterday, and a few other bits that I know he's got in the pipeline for the testimonial year for Woody. They did again off the point. They did a half-time game where fans won a golden ticket and got the chance to kick the ball as close to the centre spot as they could, which was quite good. It was quite an interesting, entertaining thing to do, which maybe the club could take forward. Because the five-a-side games are good, but maybe mix it up a little bit. Maybe. Anyway, gone off topic. Right, here's Kev's predictions, and we will see you in 2 minutes and 21 seconds.
Hi everyone, I can't make the show tonight, so I told Matt and the gang that I would send in my predictions. So here we go. Player of the season. I think if he stays fit, based on how he's looked pre-season, Liam Kelly could be our player of the season. Rising star under 23s. I don't think we've got many. I think we might have one, which is Jack Holmes. So he's my choice, Jack Holmes. Again, breakout star. I've got to go with Jack Holmes. I just think he's looked... It is raw. A raw diamond. I think he could... If he gets a run in the team... I think he could be the one. He could be the breakout star. Top goal scorer. We've got enough to choose from. Got some right people in our ranks who can score goals. But I think, like everybody else, I'm going to go for Johnson, Clark, Harris. Most assists. Again, based on what I've seen pre-season, he does like to cross the ball and get at the back post. So I'm going to go with Humbo. I think he's going to create some stuff and get in some interesting place in the box, which could obviously create an assist. Outfield player to play the most minutes. Even though he didn't play yesterday, I don't know why. I'm going to go with 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 again, I think if he stays fit, which he generally does, he's the type of guy who would run for a brick wall and play through injury as well. So 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭. Will Steve Evans still be at the end of the season? Yeah, I don't see why not. Obviously, Tony Stewart will want results. He'll want promotion. Based on who Steve Evans has signed, who Rotherham signed, I don't see any reason why we can't be competing. So, yeah, Steve Evans will be here end of the season. Total points finish. It's just a guess. Plucked a figure at me there, and I'm going to say 90 points. And obviously, moves on to the final one, finishing position. Based on us finishing with 90 points, I'm going to predict we finish second. First, I think will be Birmingham City, who should absolutely smash this league based on who they've signed. Doesn't bring results, I know, doesn't guarantee promotion, but they've spent some money and signed some quality. So I think they could finish on 100 points. So second place, 90 points. Thanks, guys.
There we go. There's Kev's ones. Thank you very much, Kev, for sending that in. Now we hand over to the man, Mick.
What? Oh, am I doing? Oh, it's my bit, is it?
God, we're all.
Yeah, we really should have done this before we started. Are you going to write these down, Matt, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I've got them. Yeah, I'll write them.
That's marvellous. In that case, Matthew, you can tell me who you think is going to be your player of the season, and then when you've told us, then you can write it down.
Thank you. Thank you for telling me how the system works that I created.
Well, I will. And if you want me to, if you just want to let me know, if you need to spell it, learn how to spell it, let me know. Because it might be an issue.
It's going to be an attacking player this year. It's got to be an attacking player because I think we're going to have a basically positive year. And the one that's shouting out to me as the most exciting player so far is 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭. He's got everything that you want in a winger. He's fast. He's got everything that 𝐁𝐞𝐬 had about him in obviously very early days, but he's obviously very, very quick. He's got the physicality that 𝐁𝐞𝐬 had. I suspect he could play on the left and the right. He seems pretty flexible. He puts a decent ball in. There is so much to like about 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐿. It's just a shame he's not a permanent signing. But he could go on to be one of the best players in League One this year. He's got everything he needs certainly for this level.
Yeah, and to be fair, it seems to me from a little bit we've seen him, you compared him to Benny, he seems to have got that little bit more confidence than 𝐁𝐞𝐬 had as well. A little bit more self-confidence. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good shout. It's a really good shout. It's 𝐁𝐿.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Ben, where's your player of the season going to sit?
I'm going to go Humphries. I think he's just going to be solid. I think he's just going to be amazing. But injury-free, obviously, hoping he stays injury-free, which is a challenge.
What chances you give him injury-free, though? That's the problem.
Well, he's only had 1 year where he's been injured steady on, mate.
It was 2 years.
Is it?
Yeah, he got the hamstring injury last year, and the year before he missed a chunk of the season with another hamstring injury.
Oh, I changed my answer. I forgot. I didn't realise about that. I'm going to say 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐿 as well. Then I'm changing. Yeah. I'm not going with the guy who's got one hamstring. I'm going to go 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐿.
So we're all neat for a minute.
No, it wasn't.
Your writing was not neat.
There is no way that was neat.
Nobody watching or listening to this knows how bad my handwriting is until just now. Thank you very much.
Tom, player of the season, mate.
Oh God, I'm gonna go. I was gonna go 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐿 as well, and after you two have said it, I wanted to change, but I think I'm still going to stick with it. I think he's just mesmerising. I really do agree with you, Mark. I think he's got the quality to be one of the best players in League One. I think he'll be player of the season overall in League One. I think he's fantastic, and I think if confidence exudes him, he'll be unstoppable. So quick, so sharp, and I think he's got aspects that 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐿 doesn't. As to final product, and I think 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐿 passes in him some aspects, but yeah, very, very positive League One signing.
Yeah, and this is the reason why I didn't pick him as my player of the season, because as soon as we do this, it happens season in, season
Yeah,
out.
he'll get
Yeah. In 2
Before
games.
you give him any credit there, Tom, ask him who he picked for player of the season.
Yeah, who did you pick?
I can't remember.
He picked 𝐁𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴,
Yeah, there you go.
who was not available until October.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not a bad shout, actually.
Steve Evans said in his interview that he wasn't scheduled to be available until January, till next year, but he's ahead of schedule.
But up here for thinking, like I said the other night, down here for dancing, right? When it comes to May, all we'll remember is the last 2 or 3 months when 𝐁𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴 has been on absolute fire. Nobody will remember those old horrible cold November nights or horrible rainy, wet January Saturday afternoons. They'll not remember.
I can see where you're coming from, Mick. I can.
Yeah.
If he was starting the season, I'd be tempted, but
I would, yeah.
Thanks, Tom. I really appreciate it. John Morell's got a good point, and Ben really about Cam Humphries. He just needs to train harder, doesn't he? Stop hamstring injuries. It's a good point.
True. How many hamstring injuries have we had at this club? It's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it?
Let's not open that can of worms.
please.
Please not. Come back to you then, Ben. So the next category, rising star. So we've got, which is an under 23 player, of which you have 2 to choose from. I'm not convinced that this category really is any use to
Holmes and Hatton.
Who'd have thought at the beginning of the season or back in the last season when we appointed Steve Evans that we wouldn't have any players under 23?
Yeah.
Well, let me think. Oh, everybody.
We didn't have one last season. We all went next to last season, and he won because of a technicality.
He won by default.
Yeah. We had nobody else.
Yeah,
at least this season, they actually play for us.
Yeah. So we've got. Well, go on, mate.
Well, Ben's right. If you include Ben Hatton into this, you could add a third, but
right. Okay.
It was your double, by the way, Ben.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely is. Even more in person. I saw him in person I think it was the first time I seen him play yesterday live, and it looks just like you. Oh, you've had an haircut. Anyway,
yeah, thank you. I'm gonna go Holmes anyway. Jack Holmes. Is that his name? Sean Holmes?
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah.
Okay. Tom?
I'm going to go a song, a Sapper song. I thought he looked really good yesterday. And I know he didn't score, but he was picked up good positions, really strong, sharp. I don't think he'll get the game time he needs to actually do anything of significance, but I think he looks really dangerous. I think he'll stretch a game as well, really well. Not to say that Jack Holmes isn't a good player. I think a lot of people. I think everyone else will go for Jack Holmes. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Josh Caswell mentions obviously Ben Hatton and Jake Hull as well. Who,
he played yesterday.
Yeah,
he ain't got a squad number though.
Yeah, he's been in and out of contention for the squad for the last 2 or 3 seasons, hasn't he? And never seems to quite make it. So, we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Matt, who do you think then for rising star?
I'm gonna go same as Tom. I like a song. I thought yesterday when he played, we kind of played the 4-3-3 with at the start he was kind of on the right hand side, and he did okay. But when he went into more central role, he was much better. He was much more involved in the game. It was much more physical than I was anticipating. I mean, he didn't dominate, but he didn't lose many physical battles. But again, when's he going to play as a central striker in that system? He's got at least three people ahead of him.
Yeah.
But there's certainly something in there that I like, and I think if he can somehow get a run, I think he'll keep his place. I couldn't see him losing his place if he got a run. So yeah, a Sapper song for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Matt. I think so as well. The difficulty with Holmes is that given the sort of fairy tale start he's had to his season, the hype that fans are going to start to build up may well weigh heavy on his shoulders.
Well, I think I said on our group chat that right now he's playing with confidence, obviously, because he's just signed. He's happy, he's comfortable, he's confident. When he has a couple of bad games, then we're going to really find out where he is as a player, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a personality as well, because given he's not going to have the same sort of exposure to football supporters of today.
I thought you were digging Steve Evans then. Sorry.
No. I won't have a dig at anybody. I don't have digs. What are you talking about? Right, next one. Tom. Breakout star. So this doesn't have to be obviously somebody who's a 16-year-old in academy. It could be anybody. As Matt did point out on Thursday, Ben picked Richard Wood for breakout star one season. Go on.
I'm going to ask if you'll allow this first. And if you say no, then I'll pick someone else. I've got two options. I'm going to go Sam Nombe. And that's going to sound stupid because he's record signing and he's had a good preseason. But on the basis of his last season performance, I think he's going to blow away. I think he's going to be better than people expect him to be, even now. I think he's going to come in full of confidence, looking sharp. And I think he's going to be, up there with one of the best players in the league by far. And he didn't come in as that. And I think he definitely didn't. He definitely didn't finish last season thinking he'd do anything. So I think he'll leave. I think he'll finish this season being linked away with us because he'll be that good. In all honesty, but if I'm not allowed that because he's our record signing, I've got. I would pick 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 𝐂𝐥𝐮𝐿. I think if he'll play a run of games. I think at some point in the season we'll switch to a 3-back and he'll be on the left-hand side of it. I think he'll be a solid 7 out of 10 each game and really keep his place. So I'm saying Sam Nombe. If people are unhappy with it, then put me down for 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 𝐂𝐥𝐮𝐿.
Well, I'm happy with that because that's my pick.
Well, there we go.
Well, John Morell's not happy. He says you can't have him because he's been successful at this level before. So
right, okay, yeah. I'll go for McCart then.
You can't have him. It's all yours, mate. It's all yours.
I feel like I've upset the people now. So
yeah, but John's a Birmingham fan. It doesn't matter.
The reason I think you can have him is because the breakout star could be anybody.
Yeah, you picked him, haven't you?
I've picked him, yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It could be any. Realistically, you could put Clark Harris as a breakout star because for me, all the breakout stars just a guy who takes his game to the next level. So anybody can break out. Oh, but having said that, I thought Nombe struggled last year for reasons that I don't think were all his fault. Some of them obviously were. So I think that he has got the ability. We've seen that, and I think this is his chance. I'm also picking him because I think he's got to have a good season. Because if he doesn't have a good season, how many times have we said here? If we don't have a good season now, where does it go? He has got to perform this season, and that's why he's my pick.
Okay, Ben, what about you?
I was going to go Clark Harris, but Matt just said that
I can't. Good.
Oh, I was going to go Clark Harris. I think he's going to be in. I think he's going to score a lot of goals, like 25 plus, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think to get breakout star, you'd have to get stupid numbers.
Can we agree? If he scored 28 with Peterborough in the league.
Yeah, he'd have to get those numbers.
If he gets 28 or more, I win, right?
I think that's fair.
I win.
Yeah, that down there, yeah.
Because he didn't get that many last year, did he? So it would be.
I think under Steve Evans, is going to baby him a bit, giving him captaincy, letting smoke up his ass. I think he's going to do quite well.
I can't imagine Steve Evans doing that to anybody, to be honest, apart from all of us. But anyway, so let's move on. Matt, next category, top goal scorer. Who is going to fill that category for you this season? I think Ben's just answered it.
It's got to be Clark Harris, hasn't it? It's got to be Johnson Clark Harris. Steve Evans loves him. I think he's the Ben Pringle of this team. He just loves him. He just seems to really like him. Yeah, he'll get 20 plus. I think pretty comfortably. He's obviously, I suspect he's going to be a penalty taker. He took the penalty against Grimsby. Also, the header against Grimsby was a good one. And had Richard Wood not scythed him down, he'd have probably got one against Donny as well. So,
good choice.
So I think Clark Harris for me is a shoo-in for that one.
Okay. So Ben, given that you've said Clark Harris is going to score 28 goals and get a breakout star, who do you think is actually going to be top scorer?
I think obviously he's the obvious answer, right? I think he's going to get quite a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, we've just ticked over into August, so that August optimism is here to stay until 5:30 on Saturday, 5:35 on Saturday when we're 1-0 down away at Exeter. So you might as well make the most of it while you can. Tom, where are you going to go with this one?
I'm going to go Sam Nombe. And my basis behind it is that I can't see Clark Harris staying fit for every single game this season. I think there'll be a period of a total of 8-9 games where he'll miss through injury or most likely suspension, and probably and I think Nombe will take up that mantle, and alongside probably scoring with him, because I think you've got to play them two up front, right? I think he'll pick up the pace, and then when he's out of the team, which I think he'll be injured. Nothing against Clark Harris. I think he's a fantastic player, but I think he'll be injured at some point this season because he's a bit older. He's been injured in pre-season. I know he was chomping at the bit to get back and all that, but I think he'll have to be rested at points. I think Nombe will just absolutely fly this league. I really do. I think he's got every single asset you could want in a striker. Good control, good finishing, good in the air, quick. I think he'll score 30 goals.
Very good. That'd be nice. Nice. I mean,
don't say that out of context. I don't think he. I think he'll score a lot. I don't think he'll score 30. Take it back immediately.
You mentioned about Johnson Clark Harris being penalty taker. I mean, Rotherham United. The title of Rotherham United penalty taker is about as useful as Steve Evans' dietitian, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just a non-job because, like Shelley's just said here, we don't get penalties. So it's
we don't in League One, to be fair.
Really? Well,
Sometimes.
I mean, I'd have to go back. I can't remember. It's been such a long time since we've been in League One.
Yeah. Well, I would say like Clark Harris. His problem is if I had to pick someone in this team to fall out with Steve Evans, it'd be Johnson Clark Harris. So that's also a potential factor as well.
It is, but in all fairness, he's very much a Steve Evans type player because he's an in-your-face, aggressive footballer. And listen, I'm all for that. That is one of the things that we've certainly missed over the last season. Somebody who's willing to really put the body on line. The Matt Taylor got rid of Woody because I don't know whether that was the reason he got rid of him or just because he felt he was too old. But then brought in two more Crocs who were just as old, who weren't willing to put the bodies on the line. Clark Harris is an Evans kind of player, isn't he? So
Fallout.
Okay, are you ready, Matt? Have you written everything down? Are you recording all this? Can you read it?
I can read it, and that's the only thing that matters, isn't it?
That's all that's important. That's all that's important, and you can interpret it completely differently come May when you realise that you're losing. So,
correct.
Next category is most assists. Ben, we'll come to you on this one. Where does your
Nombe?
Ooh,
Let me go Nombe.
Valid.
I think he's going to be more of an assister rather than a goal scorer, unless Clark Harris gets injured. I think he can step up, maybe. But I do think that he's going to be... I don't think he'll play... I think Evans will prefer Clark Harris being the number 9. And Nombe kind of just playing wherever he wants and trying to just use his pace.
I think that's a good call. I think that's a really good call. I do, because I don't, as you say, he's not going to be playing as an out striker, is he? It's unlikely given Hugo and Clark Harris. So yeah, I like that, Matt.
Yeah, same Sam Nombe. I think he did he end up second top assists. I know he didn't get many goals, but I think he got 3 or 4 assists last year. For the season we had, those are okay numbers for a forward player. He's going to be doing the dirty work, isn't he? Clark Harris is going to be the 18-yard box monster. It's going to be in and around there the whole time. It's certainly not going to run the channels, I don't think, Clark Harris. So it's going to be Nombe having to do that kind of work. Tom says in the comments he could play deeper. Even that, it could be that Nombe plays a bit deeper as a 10 or maybe even deeper than that. I think his rewards will be the assist. I don't think he's going to get loads of goals. He'll obviously chip in. We scored against Cardiff, the goal that he scored, and the qualities that he's got. But I don't think he'll get played in the right place to score the goals. He'll have to make do with getting Clark Harris's 1 million goals this season.
Tom, what about you?
I think it's going to be Joe, and I can't decide which one.
Okay.
I can't decide if it's going to be Hongo, Powell, or Rafferty, because I think set pieces come into play a lot here. And on that basis, I'm going to go Powell because I can't see Hongo starting every game. Although I picked him for player of the season, I can't see a world in which he plays in every formation that Evans puts out onto the pitch. So on that basis, I'm going to go Powell, because I think Raggett will get a load from corners. I think Clark Harris will. I think Odoffin will. I think just set piece wise, I think we'll get a fair few, and I think he's got it creativity wise anyway. So yeah, it was between him or Rafferty really, because I think Rafferty will take the other. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, between him and Hungbo, to be honest, but yeah, I'll go with Powell. I just think he's got a wand of a left foot, that man, and a great face to go along with
it. Powell agrees with you, as does J-Boy, as does Paula, I've no doubt.
The thing is, what's disappointing with pre-season, we've barely seen anything of Joe Powell, have we? He played a little bit against Sheffield United, a little bit against Grimsby, and then nothing yesterday. I'm really interested and quite excited to see what he's going to bring to the team, because at the minute I'm still, other than set pieces, I don't know what this guy's going to bring to the team yet. I'm quite excited for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kelly Bobbs has gone with Hungbo as yourself. Josh Caswell's changed his answer from Thursday to back to Hungbo as well. So that seems to be, Did you
go Powell, Tom? Sorry.
What?
You went Powell, didn't you?
Yeah, I think Hungbo will be up there, but I don't know. I just think Powell will. I think he'll get so many assists from corners. I think it's.
Well, this is the thing, and John Morels.
It's factual. If he physically gets the most assists from corners, that is not lazy. That is just factual.
Well, lazy. It was. I took the mickey out of John on Thursday night about his lazy comments about set pieces and Rotherham United and stuff like that. So you just walked straight into that.
Well, yeah, no, I stand by it though. If he wins based on the amount of corners he takes, it's factual.
Absolutely.
I'm coming to win this season. No more of this predicting Rotherham to win every game because it's fun. I'm doing a map this season and predicting the actual result.
Oh dear! Oh, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. So Ben, outfield player to play the most minutes this season.
I'm gonna go Raggett, like thing you did. I think that's a really solid shout. Centre half, just safe. Safe.
Fair enough. Nice and succinct there, Ben. Thanks for that.
Yeah. I was torn between some defenders. My issue with Raggett is that he'll probably get a concussion at some point. That's going to impact him playing some games. So I've gone Rafferty. He just the vibe I get from him is he's just Mr. Reliable. I don't think he's going to be super sexy up the right wing. I just think he's just there. He's going to play. He's going to be really, really solid. And I think that's probably why we haven't brought in a backup right back, which is another concern for the season. Yeah. I think all the eggs in the right back basket are on Rafi. So I think he's got to play. I think he's got to play most minutes this season.
That's not a good sign, that is it? Really, I don't like that at all. But anyway, there you go, Tom.
After hearing what Matt said, I do kind of want to change my answer, but I'm going to stick with what Ben said. I'm going to go Raggett. I think he's he's a stalwart in that defence. I think he's everything Evans wants in a defender. But yeah, no, like you say, Matt, I having heard your reasoning behind it, I think Rafferty probably will get the most minutes now. But I'm going to stick with my original.
Yeah, I think that seems to be the consensus in the comments as well. Josh, you're saying Raggett or Rafferty. Shelley mentions McDonald. Can play it right back. I'm assuming that maybe his cover for Rafferty, but we'll see. He did all right for Portsmouth last season, didn't he? He played a lot of minutes I think last season. So right, okay. So the big question. Tom, let me ask you this: do you think that come May 2025, Steve Evans will still be the manager of Rotherham United?
He's got an article now. He's got a column in the Advertiser. If that's not an indication that he's here to stay, I don't know what is. I think he's going to have to be in. I think through thick and thin, I think he's here for the season. I think we could finish bottom half and he'll still be here end of the season. I don't think we will, but I think hypothetically, I think he's here through thick and thin now. I think he's in with the chairman. I think he's probably persuaded himself to give himself 2 seasons to get into the Championship. Whatever happens, I think he's here no matter what.
Fair enough. Matt?
Yeah, I can't see a footballing reason why he would leave this club. To be honest with you, he knows he's got Tony Stewart on wrapped around his little finger. I mean, that's certainly how it seems. He just that's not necessarily, that's not a dig at Steve. I just think that's one of the things he's amazing at. He's just getting the right people in around him, and then getting them to sort of go along with him.
Manipulating people is what you're saying there. I mean, that's not really a good thing, is it?
If it makes him a success and makes his organisation or team or whatever a success, then it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Which is the big if, isn't it?
It's a big if. It's a big if. We'll come to that. I think if we finish 17th or 18th, I still can't see Tony Stewart sacking him. I just think they're too close, and I think that is a potential problem. I think they are. I think there is an issue with being too close. But yeah, like Tom says, the Steve Evans propaganda machine's about to get into full underway fully with the advertising article each week. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Speaking of which, I understand that at the game yesterday they played some video that the RUFC had done for Richard, which was, I understand, and I may be wrong because I wasn't there, subtly edited by the Rotherham United team, the Rotherham United comms team. Am I right?
It does seem that way, yeah. So if you ever know the IOC, every single IOC video has a certain little clip of Steve Evans' 𝐁𝐿 𝐂𝐥𝐿, and this one didn't. The IOC's video on the big screen, as far as I saw, did not have Steve Evans' 𝐁𝐿 𝐂𝐥𝐿, which is the biggest travesty of the season. Probably we're going to have all season.
I'll be honest. I think there are copyright issues here. I think that there has to be copyright / trademark issues, because that is a trademark and it's been removed. And credit wasn't given where credit is due. Ben, do you think Steve Evans will still be at the end of the season?
Yeah, I think like Matt said, I think it's going to take a lot for Stewart to sack him, and I don't think he'll leave. I think he'll be here for a while, in my opinion, a couple of years.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, in the run up to this season and since his appointment at back end of last season, I know that I have been extremely critical of him, and I've been extremely critical of Tony Stewart as well. However, I would be so happy come May next year to be eating humble pie, and I will stick my hand up and say, yeah, I was wrong. Hopefully, I hope that I'm doing that come May next year. We'll see. But in the meantime, I know I get criticised for having a little dig here and there. I'll carry on because it's funny. For me. Right. On Thursday, we combined the last two categories. So we'll do the same again tonight. Total points and finishing positions. So, Ben, what do you think our total points all will be and finishing position? And don't say first with 15 points, because that's not going to work.
I think we'll get 101 points and we'll finish first.
Is it real?
No. Genuinely, that's a joke. I think we'll get 93. I think we'll do really well this season. I think we'll get 93, and I think we'll win it.
John's just unfollowed you on Twitter.
I think Birmingham will be really good this year, by the way. I don't think it's going to be a...
They ought to be.
I mean, look at last time. Not last time. I think it was last time. Should have won the league.
We should
have won that league. Last time we were in League One.
Us?
Yeah, we bottled it.
Yeah, we should, yeah.
We bottled it big time, so I don't see why we can't do it this time.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. Sorry, I forgot that I were doing this. Tom, I drifted off there into an old man haze. Tom, where do you think we're finishing? How many points?
So I've said 87 points, and I think we'll finish third. And this is me being a little bit pessimistic, because I think Birmingham will blow this league out the water. They've signed 2 players that played almost every single game in the Eredivisie and Bundesliga. I mean, and if they sign Jay Stansfield, it's absolutely game over for everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think behind that, I think it's fiercely contested between about 6 or 7 teams. I think Charlton, Bolton, Wrexham, Stockport. If Stockport sign James Norwood and Dwight Gale and they stay fit, I think it'll be an incredibly competitive league. I think Wigan will be up there. I think we'll be up there. It's about 6 teams that I think will be really fiercely competitive. And on that basis, I think Birmingham will blow it out the water, get 100 points, whatever, do this. And then after that, I think it'll be within 5 or 6 points, the next 6 teams or whatever. So I'm going to stay safe and go 87, which would have made us 3rd last season. So that's the basis of the position. It could be 2nd, who knows? But I'm just going off based off last season.
Still very positive. It's still all very positive, apart from mine. Matt?
Not positive. I'm really excited for the season. I'm really looking forward to the season, but I am not convinced about this squad, about the depth. I am going to say 73 points in 8th. I can't quite put my finger on why, because we've got a great goal scorer in there in Clark Harris and probably Nombe, and Hugo's going to score some. The balance just feels off. I can't work out. I still can't work out how we're going to play, which I would have expected to be able to work it out by now. Is it going to be 3 at the back? Is it 4 at the back? Is it going to be 3 strikers? Is it just going to be the 1 striker?
There's no connection.
There's nothing. I don't get it just yet. Look, 2 games in, I might be wrong. We might win 6-0, 6-0, and it looks pretty. It looks great, but there's too many question marks. So I mentioned Joe Powell earlier. How good's Joe Powell? Nobody knows. How good's Sean McWilliams? I don't know.
I saw. Just to play devil's advocate here. I do sort of agree with you, because I think we've not strengthened in a lot of positions that probably need strengthening, like your centre halves, like your right backs.
Yeah.
Whereas he's out trying to get a 10 and a winger, which we've got Andre Green on the way back, and we've got players that can. Yeah. And I think that's where the struggle comes in, right? But I think you're also forgetting that we have a lot of top players that played last season. Hacks, Thierry, Rathbone, Humphreys are all top. Can all play championship up to a point. And I think we've signed Hungbo, who will be one of the players of the season, and Nombe and Clark Harris and Hugo, etc. I think we've got a really good foundation of a squad. But I do, and James and Rafferty are really solid. Right, solid. I do agree with you. I think I have this lingering feeling of we're not going to do as well as we all think we are, based on the premise of how hyped up everything is. But when you look at it on paper, I mean, Birmingham are the only squad really, and I say squad with depth, that are better than us. So that's why I'm being a bit, the pessimist, and whatever in me says we're not going to do too well. Let's not get our hopes up. But if you look at it on paper and the reality of it, we do have players that will boss this league if given the chance.
Well, they've all won promotion, haven't they? They've all been there, done it, and know how to get out of the division, which is a massive tick.
There's some experience in there, isn't there? Some experience.
But is there too much? Is there too much?
Yeah, well, we'll see. Phil's 65.
That didn't make any sense. You can't have too much experience there. I should clarify that. There's not too much experience. There's not enough youth in there, is what I kind of mean.
Yeah. No, completely agree.
So Phil's 65 points for 5th.
Oh, God.
John S. 60. Shut up, Tom.
No, I wasn't going to say you.
What happens when that's still in it?
Why is that saying shut up, Tom?
You've lost us all now.
Yeah. It's all gone. I lost control.
Classroom.
John S. 67 points in 6th. Phil, he thinks 8th. John Monell saying he's even more confident in our team than you are, Tom, which is a bit of a worry.
I said we finished 3rd. That wasn't the Come on.
Leeds fan Russ Vernon is saying 96 points in 1st. So even Russ is more confident than some of us. We'll see how that pans out, Russ. I hope you're right, mate.
Yeah, well, Gab Sutton's predicted 10th, hasn't he? 442 have predicted 4th, and not the top 20 have predicted 4th as well. So it's a mixture. As you maybe expect, I suppose.
Yeah. Interesting comment from Johnny, and I don't mean this to sound smart. So John's saying that their manager keeps insisting that a big squad's needed. Teams in the division will play nearly 60 games this season. To be fair, any sort of cup run, get through the first round of any competition in this, either the FA Cup or the League Cup, and you're almost guaranteed 60 games. You've got 46 league games. You've got however many Bristol Street Tin Pot Motors.
Well, you guarantee at least 5 cup games, aren't you?
Yeah, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Papa John's, whatever it's called nowadays.
And there's 3 or 4 Papa John's. So you're already, if you do well in any of those competitions, doing well for a League One club, 60 games is definitely there. So
what I would say to that is
League One.
In Bristol Street Motors, the 3 cup games were league group games. They'll be completely different to the 11 that start from. So it's about managing your squad, and the Birmingham manager might not have meant it like this, but if their manager thinks that he can sign a group of players where the base 11 are going to play most of those 60 games, he's in for a massive shock.
Yeah,
you've got to manage it best, especially in League One. You've got to do it better in League One than Championship. League One is a horrible grind of a league. You've got to be really smart. And Bolton aren't smart. I don't think they manage it, Peter. But that's why these teams keep falling. I think they're not smart enough about it. But,
I don't know why you keep saying that, Ben. Matt, it's outrageous, really. Ian Evatt is the best manager in this league, and he has the best squad in this league. He's been saying it for seasons, and nobody will listen to him. So I don't know why you keep picking on Bolton. I really don't.
Sorry,
it might be because they're still in League One, despite being best team in League One for 4 years. But anyway, whatever. A couple more coming in. Graham saying 87 and second. Phil's saying not 6. He's going for 8th, same as you, Matt. So it's there's a lot of optimism, but there's also a bit of it's tinged with some realism as well for some people. I wonder.
So I interrupt you again, Mick. I wonder what the split is of people that think we're not going to do very well, that didn't want Steve Evans, the people who think we're going to do really well, that really want Steve Evans. I wonder if there is a split to that.
Yeah, possibly, and it's difficult in it because going back to the manager appointment or the managerial appointment, there were 2 very separate camps, weren't they? In relation to whether it was a good or bad decision, and I mean everybody knows where I sit on that. So I think if you were looking to sort of get an idea of how people felt about how the season were going to go based on who the manager is, I think you probably get the same result. I don't think anybody who was really keen to have Evans as manager is going to say we're going to drop, finish 10th. But on the flip side, people who didn't want him may well argue that we could be playoffs or top 2. It very much depends on everybody else, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does.
I think there's teams that have really strengthened as well.
Yeah,
had really good windows. I still don't think we've had the best window. I think we've signed a lot of players, but I don't think it's the best window in League One.
Yeah,
and
I think a lot of people.
Equation.
Say again, sorry.
I was just saying Birmingham are out of the equation, by the way, because nobody can beat that 10 million that they spent in League One. So
no, ridiculous. It's
not
beyond League One.
Yeah, it's not fair.
When we'll be saying that last day of the season when they've pipped us to title or pipped us to second place, we'll be saying it then. John Morell saying what is considered success this season? What is the bare minimum?
Yeah,
Steve Evans told us we'll be challenging for promotion. That's what he told us at the fans forum.
What does that mean?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Does that mean we'll be sat in 8th position, 3 points off at playoffs for most of the season? Because that's essentially challenging for promotion.
But that is what he's fed us, though, right?
Yeah.
Because that is technically a success.
Yeah.
I seriously think this league is more competitive than people give it credit for. So I think challenging for 6th position is probably, depending on the teams above you, is a success to a lot of teams. Like we've listed before, there's Birmingham who are going to run away with it, and then there's about 8 teams under them who could all get second, let alone get playoffs. So it'll be within, I seriously think it'll be within 6 points, 2nd to 8. I think it'll be 6 points.
It does tend to be the case in League One. So when we went last time, and this is generally what happens. We had 3 teams that were challenging the top 2, with us, Wigan, and McDonald's, and then everybody else beyond that was really, really close. And it's always the case in League One. Yeah. And this season should be even worse. It should be even tighter, I think. Ben, do you want to chirp in? Don't know what the word was, but you can do it anyway.
About what?
What success for the season? What success, and what would be the absolute minimum?
We're talking about England again. I think I don't know. Challenging for promotion is, like Mick said, it's a bit. He might be just covering his ass, because if we finish 9th, technically we might be challenging for promotion. But I think, a success is promotion, in my opinion. Success is a promotion. I think a bare minimum is just be competitive. I think, if we finish in mid-table and playing crap, and I think the excuses are going to come out flying in the press conferences afterwards. And I think if that starts happening, I think that's a sign of failure, or a sign of a not very good season. Is when the excuses come flying out. Too wet or whatever, it's too hot, too rainy. Balls deflated or whatever.
Refs,
stuff like that. But no, I think a success is promotion, obviously, and I would like to think we would be challenging for promotion, whatever that means.
Yeah,
I think ultimately, it's like Ben's just said, success is top 2, but the bare minimum has to be the playoffs. The bare minimum has to be the playoffs.
I don't think it does. I've heard it. Because you think about last season. You think about last season and the changes he's had to make. The changes he's had to make for that. This is essentially, it's like an international squad, this. Because we've had 3, 4, 5 weeks to get ready. And we might not get going till October. We might not get going till November. And if you're challenging for promotion, you want to win a league, you have to be good from August till May. If you want to win a league, you have to be good every single game.
Yeah,
if you're not getting going till October or November because you ain't got no cohesion, no chemistry. These players have never really played with each other, and back and forth from different clubs, not settled in the personal life because they've been moving about country. It's hard to get going, and I think it's going to be really tough. Even though I said we'll finish first, I think it's going to be really tough to get to win this league if we can't get going till October.
I'd agree with you, Ben. If he'd signed a load of journeymen, but he hasn't. He's signed players who've been with clubs a long time. He's signed settled players who are all right at that, except that they're moving clubs. But you've got to look at the wider context and not just look at last season and the absolute mess that it was. The reputation is probably not the right word, but the way Rotherham United have dealt with League One over the last 12 years, anything other than at least being in the playoffs at the end of this season is not a successful season. It's not a successful season as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but there's a difference between not a successful season and bare minimum.
I think the problem is the rhetoric that Steve Evans comes out with has suggested that we will be in the top 6. Now, he hasn't come out and said that word for word, but the words he used when he came in. Now, I think he's toned it down a bit now, but when he came in, certainly the fans' forum, I took from him that he was kind of saying League One, the playoffs are a minimum. But he didn't say that. I may be misreading him.
They are. That is a bare minimum for this to be a successful season.
I think that's going to be a real challenge. Even though I've said
of course it is.
I think that's going to be a real challenge because there's no chemistry. It's just so hard to get going when you've got no cohesion. Yeah. If we lose the first 2 games, there's nothing to fall back on. The two tough games to lose as well. We're not starting the season against Birmingham and Huddersfield or Peterborough or whatever. You're away Exeter or a bit of a nowhere team, and you then at home to Bristol Rovers, who's managed by Matt Taylor. If you lose those 2 games, the question marks then come in, especially with the Matt Taylor thing as well. The subplot of the Bristol Rovers game is massive. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting, but we'll talk about that next week, I'm sure.
We absolutely will. Also, I just wanted to know, because obviously the first I didn't go to the Sheffield United game. There's at the fans forum, we were told about 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 𝐂𝐥𝐮𝐻 within 4 weeks of the fans forum what was happening with 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐿 𝐂𝐥𝐮𝐻. Still no news. Nothing's been said. 𝐁𝐿𝐿 𝐂𝐥𝐮𝐻 is still there.
Have you got your season ticket yet?
No, I went to get them yesterday, but the queue was too big, so I just went and got my waiting ground. I'll send somebody else to do it. Mick will do it. Something. I'll sit with him. No problem. Also, I want to say that I don't know if you can see the camera. The brochures, they call them programs. What do they call them? Testimonial brochure, anyway, that they done for the Woody testimony is really, really good. Really, really good. And for £3 as well, I don't think it was too bad. They did a really good job yesterday, I thought, with the whole event. We should also mention there was a delay in kickoff. I mean, it wasn't there. There was a delay in the kickoff for around 8 minutes. It ended up being. Now, they said it was for unforeseen circumstances, but I got in fairly early, about 2:30. The people that came in afterwards suggested there was massive queues getting into the stadium with their tickets.
At 4,000 supporters.
Less than half full stadium. So anybody that's going to Bristol Rovers, I know this is 2 weeks, but anybody going to Bristol Rovers game, get there early. Is all I will say is get there early, because we saw when they changed the system a couple of years ago, that were a disaster.
Yeah.
And I think I might be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope they've worked out what the teething issues were, but I suspect the Bristol Rovers game could be a bit of a nightmare to get in.
Yeah, it's just Ticketmaster as well. We've got Ticketmaster involved, so if anybody's going to mess it up.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that they did pay on the day, which they don't often do they? They don't often sell tickets, so that may have affected it. But we'll see. We'll find out in 2 weeks, won't we? Well, we played Crew before then, don't we, actually? So we might find out the Crew game in the Cup a little bit early, but we shall see. Anything else?
No.
Cool. We are back on Tuesday this week. It's exciting, isn't it? We're doing the fans phone-in, was probably what we're going to call it. I haven't figured out a name yet, but we'll try and figure. Fans phone-in is where we'll go for now. I think we're probably going to do this live just because. I think that's probably easier for everybody to get involved if you're all on the chat as well with whoever. So how this is going to work, we're going to put the link out on Tuesday to you guys, which you can join. We'll be live at 8 o'clock, and then we'll go through. So at the bottom of my screen, I can see these 4 guys, and then when anybody else joins, we'll see who else has joined. And one by one, we'll have a 5-minute chat, a 10-minute chat, whatever it might be, about what you think of the season, what you think of the signings, just get your thoughts kind of thing. We'll see how it goes. It might be wonderful. I'm sure it will be wonderful because we spoke to loads of people in the comments in real life, and you're all lovely people so far. But I'm sure there's some not lovely people out there. You know what I mean? So they're all lovely. I'm sure you're all great. Mick's not, but that's fine. The Scout Report. The Scout Report has also been recorded. We've done that. Danny's done that with Jed, who is the guy who talked to us about the Sam Nomley when he signed. We'll probably do that Friday. That will probably a Friday. We'll do that a regular Friday show now. That's a 20-minute job, which is quite interesting about Exeter and what to expect from them on Saturday. And then we'll be back Thursday for the first preview show of the season as we look ahead to Exeter at 5:30 on Saturday afternoon. Is that everything?
I think so. I didn't realise my week was going to be quite so busy, but there you go.
You didn't realise your week was so busy, even though I've told you about 3 weeks ago.
No, the season. Come on, you got to be ready. You got to get your pre-season form in.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find out who ref is, and then you can give them some jip. It'd be great.
I'm all for that. I'm up for that.
Yeah. It's good. This week leading up to the season is one of my favourite weeks because there's no. We said it before. There's nothing to be really negative about. Really, the football hasn't started. We haven't been let down just yet. And then, like I said, after 7 on Saturday evening, things will be maybe very different.
Different story.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you. Make sure you've subscribed on YouTube. If you haven't done already, make sure you subscribe and join us on Tuesday evening, which will be live at 8 o'clock, as is always the case, the time-wise. And like the show on also iTunes and Spotify. Make sure you've subscribed and give us a 5-star rating, wherever it allows you to do so as well. And Ben, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I thought you were just going to nod then.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Tom.
Pleasure as always.
And thank you, Mick. But like you're like a good sheep that we kept us in order tonight. Well done.
Yeah, hardly. I don't
interrupting Tom. You did great.
I don't like doing it. It's just not fun.
Like I said, he's like a substitute teacher, isn't he?
Yeah. We'll get Tom or Danny to do it next time if you don't want to do it.
Yeah. Who's that?
We'll see you next time. And up the Millers.
All the Millers.
Millers.
I think I always made the comment that once a Miller, always a Miller.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! Good heavens, he's done it again! Another promotion for the big man.
I've got 12 bottles of champagne in my office, and we're going to drink them all night.
Do me a favor, drop me off in